Once upon a time. Welcome to Australian Book Lovers, your destination for imagination.
Australian Book Lovers acknowledges First Nations peoples and recognises their continuous connection to country, community and to culture. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and honour the sharing of traditional stories passed down through generations. We're committed to a safe and inclusive welcome for authors and readers of all cultures and backgrounds, including people of LGBTQIA+ communities and their families.
A big warm welcome to everyone and a huge thank you for joining us for the Australian Book Lovers Podcast, episode 123. That's a pretty good number.
That's a pretty good number. Yep.
It is. Now, our mission, as you know, is to bring fabulous Australian and Indigenous literature that spans a whole range of genres to book lovers around the globe, as well as fantastic resources and information for passionate authors looking to write their next bestseller. I'm Veronica Strachan, aka V.E. Patton, fantasy, sci-fi, memoir and picture book writer, voracious reader of many genres, your founder and co-host, coming to you from a beautiful evening in Gurindji Country.
Yes, so far the evening is well, so we'll see how it goes. And I am Laurie Bell, science fiction and fantasy author, reader, blogger, short story and flash fiction writer, and your co-host today, coming to you also from Gurindji Country. And it's been a beautiful sunny day, but the weather is very quickly changing.
Yes, and it'll probably be 10 degrees cooler tomorrow, but that's what we love about our little part of this fabulous country.
We do.
Now, Laurie, you've got a fabulous interview lined up for us.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about who you were chatting with.
So I'm chatting today with Donna M Cameron, who is the author of the Rewilding, and that is a book that is through our Transit Lounge, the publishers, and it is a fantastic little chat that we have. I think we race through so many bits and pieces. I hope everyone really enjoys the turns that we go on. Typical of my kind of interviewing style, isn't it?
Left turn, right turn, no, and such a beautiful cover. When I first saw that, it was just glorious, that cover.
Yeah, and climate fiction, which is such an interesting, I love the way that she put it in regard to, and you'll get to hear all about it, but that it's hope and hope based. So hopefully you all get to enjoy that.
Beautiful. Having spoken with Vanessa Lee, I think it's a good kind of, segue between the two of them is lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes.
Good. But we need to start, I guess, a little bit with some news. You've got some very exciting news to start us off with a couple of authors who we spoke to not that long ago. So tell us that news.
I know, it is absolutely spectacular. So let me just move this where I can actually read it. So the Karajia and Environment Awards for Children's Literature 2024 winners were announced, and very excitedly, the winner, the Environment Award for Children's Literature Non-Fiction, The Trees. So the amazing Victor Stephenson and Sandra Stephenson that we got to speak to Victor. So congratulations.
Yeah.
And also Nettinger for the Karajia Award for picture fiction, Nettinger Ancestors by Isabel Bevis and Leanne Zim. So Zilm, sorry. And yes, so congratulations there too. It was very exciting.
And all of the shortlist is absolutely superb. And we were so lucky that, hey, perhaps next year, if we say, would you like to talk to us? We'll know because we picked the winners.
Because we picked the winners. So bring them on board. So
we'll take the credit.
Oh, of course, absolutely. I'll very quickly mention, so also for fiction for the Environment Award, The Littlest Penguin and the Phillip Island Penguin Parade. Love the Penguin Parade. And picture fiction for Environment, Hope is a Thing by Joanna Bell and Erica Wagner. And there was also Karajia with the non-fiction was In My Blood It Runs.
Oh, yes,
So
fantastic.
yeah, so absolutely brilliant books all
She's amazing,
round. So
yeah.
congratulations to everyone.
So that's it for another year. It's hard to believe because I remember when we interviewed the year before's
Yeah.
shortlist, and it feels like no time at all. And
Oh
dare
yeah.
we say Christmas is racing up,
Yeah.
but yeah, there we go. So have you got some more news for us, Laurie?
I do. So I wanted to mention just something that always strikes me as interesting is that the Screen Australia has received funding. They're doing some book to film adaptations
Mm-hmm.
through Screen Australia, sorry. So
Yep.
Screen Australia will be doing them. So two book adaptations are among 15 projects that are getting funding. And Watching You is a six-part psychological thriller series
Mm.
based on the novel The Last Guests. And there was another one here that I had, Zack Power, an animated family feature film based on the book series of the same name published by Hardy Grant. So, yes, it's the more Australian books that get made into film through Australian Screen Australia and through Australian just creatives is
Mm.
wonderful to see. So
Yeah, fantastic.
congratulations to those authors and publishing houses and Screen Australia, and hopefully we get to see those very soon.
Yes,
Probably not for a
brilliant.
while.
Oh, no, it'll take some years, but I know
Yeah,
that Holden Shepherd's book, Invisible Boys, which is being made,
exactly. Yeah.
is coming along. I keep
Good for
watching
him.
him on social media, and he's that sounds like I'm stalking him. Sorry, Holden. He knows that I'm not stalking, but yeah, I love to see the progress that they're making on that, which is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like Andy Lee's new animation series. Do not
Oh,
watch this show. So there's quite a few, Aussie shows that are coming up, but it's wonderful that those first two are book adaptations because don't we as authors always want to see our
yeah,
books in film form or some sort of televisual uh
definitely.
televisual form. So
Yes, you imagine that you
yeah.
would. And it's harder than you think, because,
Oh
as I might have said on a number of occasions, my
yeah.
niece who is a TV producer,
Mm.
it, the books that you sometimes love because of their description, because of the internal dialogue, because of all of those things,
Yeah.
are really hard sometimes to adapt to a screen
Yeah.
because it's hard to show internal
Mm.
dialogue. It's not doesn't make good TV. And I
Yeah,
think she was talking
absolutely.
about why, I don't know if you've read the Kay Scarpetta novels by Patricia Cornwell.
Oh, yes, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
and they've been trying to make those for so
Oh,
many years, but of course,
interesting.
a lot of that is procedural,
Mm,
and it's
mm,
her thinking about how she does postmortems
mm,
and what little bits and pieces are, and a lot of it is her internal dialogue, which I
mm,
just love the books and I love the
mm.
audio books, but yeah, it's makes for difficult television. But our Nicole, I see, is now
Well, that's
doing
it.
having
Ex
another go, so fingers
Yep.
crossed.
So you never know, and yeah, certainly for books that are out there that do get described as, oh, it was so visual, I could imagine it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
fingers crossed, we might all end up on that list at some point.
Yes, and I believe we have to keep an eye out for something visual for one of your books very soon.
Oh my goodness, I tell you, I'm so excited by this, everyone. I can't give you too many details right now, but hopefully by our next episode, I can give you heaps of details. But a couple of months ago, I think I mentioned that I was getting a book trailer done of one of my books. This one was for Boss from Hell behind me.
Yes, behind you. Yes, over your
Um,
shoulder for those
and
what
it is
listening.
it is almost ready, and I got a sneak peek of it earlier, and I have been buzzing all day.
That is
I am
so
so
good.
excited.
It's
So,
fantastic.
yeah,
Congratulations, and can't
thank
wait
you.
for you to share it with us
Yes, it actually
when the time is
drops
right.
on Halloween. So, Halloween, everyone, watch your socials because I'll be sharing that link around like
Good.
crazy.
And yes, and then go to the Australian Book Club's website and click buy
Yes,
for there, which would be fantastic, and
absolutely.
make an author happy today.
It would.
All right, now
Right, what news have you got?
another author, another one
Mm,
of our favorite authors, because you, of
mm.
course, are one of our favorite authors, is Kevin Clare, and
Yes.
Kevin
Mm,
is just has just had released the audio book of his Midnight Man book, which is absolutely fantastic. So I saw a little trailer. You had a little preview of the
More
trailer.
trailers.
Yes, of Midnight Man. So keep an eye on the fabulous Kevin Clare. So that's Klehr. And Kevin has written a number of books, romances, fantasies, sci-fi, just some great stuff.
And we've spoken to him a few times on the
yes,
podcast.
we have, and we will get him back because I really would love to do some stuff on audiobooks because
I would love that.
record audiobooks. I'd love to hear Kevin's experience.
Yeah.
And I know we talked to a couple of people from one of the companies that employs voice actors and that kind of thing. So I think we could find a little special, a little writer's room.
I would love that. Absolutely. I think my very first interview with Darren for this podcast, I was talking about wanting to make my books into audiobooks. And it's been 3 or 4 years now. So I would love to be a part of that podcast.
Yes. So I think we can get that organised. So that would be lovely. So congratulations, Kevin.
Yes.
Keep an eye out on all the socials for Kevin's book, The Midnight Man, which I did love his cover of The Midnight Man. But anyway,
it's a great one.
It is good. It is good. So the things that I have, another one of the great supporters of Australian book lovers is Sydney Authors Inc.
Yes.
As you know, a group of fabulous Australian authors. Sadly, they live in New South Wales, but that's okay. They have a local authors book festival on Friday, the 29th of November. So if you are in and around Sydney around that time, please join them for their cocktail style event with food and drink from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. at St. Peter's Town Hall, 39 Unwins Bridge Road in Sydenham, New South Wales, and not Sydenham in Victoria. You would be a long way from the fun. If you're in Sydenham, Victoria, or you might be.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It does. Yeah, they've got a book themed cocktail as well. It's a low price of $50, which includes your GST, and you can actually hire a table and chairs to sell your books at the event. Share your table if you wish. The tables are limited, so get in touch with Sydney Authors Inked, that's INKED @gmail.com if you're interested. And free tickets, of course, are available on Humanitix site. So if you just want to go and attend, it's free. But if you want a book table or to share a book table, get in touch with Sydney Authors Inked @gmail.com. So yeah, fantastic. They're doing some great stuff up there. For all the local authors, etc., which is fantastic.
They've had some really good guests as well.
They have. There was this one from Melbourne who went all the way and had a lovely chat with the gorgeous Maria P. Freno, who has been travelling around the world. I saw her photos on Italy and all those. Jealous much? Yes. Okay. As well as that, I've got 3 other little things to share with you, and I'm just going to bring them over here. I wanted to remind writers in Victoria to jump on. Don't forget to subscribe or renew your subscription to Writers Victoria, because not only do they support and do great courses for writers, but they also have some really good discounts, which are very helpful for writers as well. So writing advice, publishing advice, competitions, they've got a blog, they've got writing groups, they've got writing workouts, and of course the library, and just writersvictoria.org.au, and have a look and get your membership in, which I have just renewed mine. Thank you very much for the reminder.
Excellent.
I thought I would share 9 favourite first lines from Doubleday authors.
Ooh, okay.
All right.
Go for it.
See if you remember any of these. I was not sorry when my brother died.
That's a good line.
It's the first
that
line.
Is a good line.
And I would be running to read that. That is called Nervous Conditions by Tsitsi Dangaremga, which is interesting. Just 8 words, yet they contain multitudes. I really like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure you recognise this. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife.
Yep. Recognise that one. Good old Pride and Prejudice.
Exactly. Thank you, Jane Austen. Ever since my mum died, I cry in H-Mart.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's called Crying in H-Mart by Michelle Zorner. And again, this is a memoir, and it opens with kind of this simple yet deeply layered sentence, which is just great.
Wow.
And the material doesn't stain, the salesgirl says.
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah. So this is by a novella called The Driver's Seat by Muriel Spark. And
Okay.
it's a subtle but telling opening line. Muriel is a Scottish novelist. It kind of inspires intrigue. Of
Mm.
course, as the narrator quickly reveals, Lisa is on an existential errand to get herself killed.
Ooh.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
The snow in the mountains was melting, and Bunny had been dead for several weeks before we came to understand the gravity of our situation.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Well,
intriguing.
yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Now that's from The Secret History by Donna Tart.
Okay.
Mhm, mhm.
Mm.
Sorry about the dog barking in the background. She's a
Oh,
bit excited. It is
I can't
twilight.
hear
That's good. All right. If I have learned anything in this long life of mine, it is this. In love, we find out who we want to be. In war, we find out who we are.
Mm.
I really like that.
Yeah.
So that's from The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna.
Mm.
Some of these, yeah, I don't know, but
Mm.
it's just
Mm.
impressive and it's so different, from a
Mm.
small or from a
I've got
really,
that one.
yes, yeah.
I'm like, that rings a bell.
Ah.
I think I've got that book.
Oh, there you go. All right, how about this one?
Mm.
Where does a mistake begin? Lately, I found this simple question difficult. Impossible, actually. A mistake has roots in both time and space, a person's reasoning and her whereabouts. Somewhere in the intersection of these two dimensions is the precisely bounded mistake. In nautical terms, its coordinates.
Oh,
That's from
that's
Sea Wife by Amity Gage. Yeah, that was
there
more than the
you
first line,
go.
but I
Okay.
still
But
think it was
that's
good.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love this one. This is by
Mm.
Toni Morrison from the book Beloved.
Mm.
124 was spiteful.
That's
You
fair.
just don't know.
That's right, exactly. Tell me more. Yep, yep.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Yes, yes. The Accidental Tourist by Anne Tyler. Here's her first line. They were supposed to stay at the beach a week, but neither of them had the heart for it, and they decided to come back early. All
Fair
right.
enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
Start you in the
Been
middle of the story, but there you go.
there?
So I thought that was just interesting for
Yeah.
our authors to think about their own first lines and what kind of impact and how searching or interesting or
Mm.
short or intriguing, and do you kind of go with your genre and does it immediately
Mm-hmm.
identify you? But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course,
Interesting.
I think the other one that's very famous is if I was to say to you, in a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit. It,
Yeah.
you would know, yes,
Yeah.
not a nasty, wet, yeah, anyway,
Yeah.
you would immediately
I do like that one. Absolutely.
Tolkien. And it's so memorable.
Mm.
There you go. So the last of my little bit of news was
Mm.
that the Booker Prize in 2024
Yep.
features the largest number of women authors in its 55-year history. So that is
Good.
absolutely amazing. So
Yeah.
5 of the 6 strong shortlist are women, with authors from
Wonderful.
5 countries represented, including the Netherlands for the first time. So I thought that was
Wow.
good.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So have a look up and you can see. And I am not going to share the list with you because I'm going to say to you, go and have a look and see who the Booker Prize has shortlisted. Because they had
Fantastic.
156 publications to look
Hmm.
at. But yes, there you go.
That's fantastic.
It
That's
is good, isn't it?
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So that is
Ah.
my news for the day.
And just what I will spit
Spit it out,
this out
Laurie.
at some point. I have been reading the
Oh,
wonderful Nikki
yes.
Lee's Raken's Fall, so I have
Yes.
been reading that. Um,
I feel like I should have got my book and we could have pretended to
we could,
pass it through
yeah,
because Nikki's given me, I'm really lucky to get an art
that
copy as well, and it's just fantastic.
that would have been really funny. We'll have to
Yes.
plan that better for next time.
We will. That would have been really good for the visual people, but that's all right. The audio people are
Yep,
going, we don't care. We're just listening to
yep, we
you
can't hear
on my
it.
drive to work,
Hmm.
aka Hayley Walsh. Hope you're driving safely. Don't drive off the road when we talk, say that your name
No,
is
no,
there. But yes,
but
there is
yes.
so much great reading around.
Yep,
Yeah. And
yep.
I started it, I got like 3 pages and then got a message that 3 of my little treasures were coming to stay last weekend. So they kind
No.
of I came to my reading weekend. I'd planned to put my feet up and just, bury myself in the book.
Yep.
And of course, I've had the busiest week. And last weekend was a write-off because it was Ian's birthday and all of those kind of things. But anyway,
Oh,
it's
wonderful.
sitting there.
I love it.
If you would like to
Mm.
share some news, or you think there's some news that you would like us to share with our listeners,
Yes.
please, send us an email, such as Sydney Authors Inc. and Kevin did, and let us know what you'd like us to share. As long as it's book related, we're
Yeah.
very happy to share it.
Yep.
And if, of course, you would like to buy some of the fabulous merchandise that Laurie and I wear, I just noticed that we've both got I've got my fantasy kookaburra
You've
with
got
the
fantasy.
dragon
I've got
wings, and you've got the cyber-eyed platypus.
I do.
You, of course, can look on Redbubble and type in Australian Book Lovers, or there's a link on our website, and you can get t-shirts. Christmas is coming.
It
And if
is.
books are not really your thing, or you want to wrap a book in a t-shirt or a hat or a mouse pad or a cup, anything.
Yeah.
So pretty much anything you can think of, you
And
can
as
get
I
the dead
say,
wrong
they're
things on.
really easy to wrap. For the person that is terrible at wrapping presents,
Yes,
books are brilliant.
absolutely.
Yep.
Yep. And if you're an author, of course, you want your book on the list and you want to chat to
Yes.
us on the podcast, like you're going to be chatting to very shortly, going to share with us
Yes.
Donna Cameron's interview, then please,
Yes.
australianbooklovers.com/for authors, load up your book. And just a few of our long-term authors have just remembered that they've forgotten to give us their last book in the series, or they've realized that there's one missing and they've given us the first and third. And I go, hey, what about the one in the middle? Oh, yeah, I forgot to give you that one. So please feel free to jump on and give us your books as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Cool.
So
Some book
that's news.
spotlights.
Book spotlights.
Let's start off with Tamarra. This is a fabulous one. So, a story of termites on Gurindji Country. 30 collaborative authors and artists. It's an educational picture book. So, Tamarra, a story of termites on Gurindji Country, is a fascinating illustrated science book that takes kids inside the life of termites through storytelling from the Gurindji people. Did you know there are 4 types of termite poo?
I did
That
not.
that's a great one for telling the littlies, littlies at Christmas.
Yes.
4 types. Or that a warm paste made from termite mound is used to strengthen a Gurindji's baby's body and spirit. Or that spinifex, which termites eat, is one of the strongest plants in the world. Created as a
Know that.
collaboration, yeah, I know. Created as a collaboration between over 30 First Nations and non-Indigenous contributors, the story and artworks explore how termites and their mounds connect different parts of country, from tiny Gurindji babies and their loving grandmothers to spiky spinifex plants growing in the hot sun. Written in, written in traditional Gurindji Creole and English with a QR code to an audio version spoken in language, Tamarra is a truly original story with beautiful artwork that takes readers on an educational and cultural journey through Gurindji Country, suitable for children aged 7 to 12. That does sound like a great Christmas present book.
Fantastic. And I love that there's so many more books now in various languages. And I love that this has got Gurindji and Gurindji Creole and English, all
Yeah.
with the audio version as well. I just love it. It's
Yeah,
just
it's a great
fantastic.
idea with the QR code to the audio.
Yes.
It's lovely.
Yeah. Okay, the
Okay.
bio for
Yes.
the authors, the co-creators of Tamarra, are a diverse group of First Nations and non-Indigenous people. For over 4 months in 2021, they came together on Gurindji Country to explore a shared interest in termites and with a curiosity about how they could create a new kind of storybook together. The First Nations artists and storytellers who contributed to this project are Gurindji women Violet Wadrill, Topsy Dodd, and Leah Lehman, who are cultural custodians and members of Karunkanai art based in Kalkaringi in Northern Territory. Gurindji students from Kalkaringi School also participated through workshops and art making. Key non-Indigenous contributors are linguist Felicity Meekins, who's worked with the Gurindji community for over 20 years, artist Bryony Barr, and microbiologist Gregory Crocetti, who collaborate as Scale Free Network, and language workers Cecilia Edwards and Cassandra Elgie. There you go. That is a lot of people who contributed to this beautiful book.
The workshops and art making would have been so much fun.
Yes, absolutely. All right.
All right. Tao Tuning has the power to transform lives by encouraging readers to pursue their passions, turn back to nature, and embrace the timeless principles of Taoism. In this non-fiction book, you will learn how to live in the zone of flow, optimizing life's potential, master the mechanics and metaphysics of flow, discover your soul purpose for this lifetime. And I like the way it's soul and soul. SOLE and SOUL, purpose for this lifetime. Ride the wave of your destiny to success and happiness. Align the three essential forces of fate, destiny, and daily life. Become a master practitioner of Tao Tuning. Get that right this time. To surf the cosmic waves and lead a meaningful and fulfilling life filled with joy, wonder, and ease.
It sounds like
Yeah.
a list of life essentials there, doesn't it? Yeah. All right. So the bio. So Adrian Emery, the author, entrepreneur, philosopher, environmentalist, and keen gardener, has devoted his life to creating a new philosophy called LifeWorks, based on understanding the laws, principles, and codes that make life work easily, effortlessly. We're all tripping over tongues
But I
tonight.
know.
And successfully. He has developed a coaching modality called Tao Tuning, designed to assist others in finding their life purpose, ikigai. And actually, that's I've got a book called Ikigai. That's the Japanese philosophy, and attune to the flow of their inner destiny and fate. Emery also built Rustic Spirit in the Blue Mountains of Australia. Great spot as a spiritual retreat for guests to come and experience the stillness. He currently lives just outside the Blue Mountains National Park with his partner Marianne in Senekatan, a spectacular 10-acre botanic garden and ecosystem built over the last 50 years to demonstrate we can regenerate the earth. Well, there you go. That sounds like an absolutely beautiful place to be.
Yeah, yeah. Book 3, which is Grace and Marigold by Mira Robertson. So it's a contemporary book. It's 1974 when 20-year-old Grace arrives in London, determined to shrug off her Australian past and reinvent herself. While embracing her new life in the Free Republic of Beltonia? Yes. A street of communal squats, she's haunted by the unbearable thought that she might be a lesbian, a fate she considers almost worse than death. Before long, she falls secretly in love with Marigold, upper class, enigmatic, and avowedly straight. When Marigold mysteriously disappears without a trace, the search for her leads Grace to a life-changing epiphany. Evoking the spirit of 1970s London through the world of squatting and political protests, street parties, encounter groups and gurus, and the mayhem of a rackety publishing outfit where Grace gets a job, Grace and Marigold is both witty and moving in its exploration of the inner turmoil and ultimate liberation of a young woman's journey to self-acceptance.
Fantastic. Mira Robertson's debut novel, The Unexpected Education of Emily Dean, was published in 2018. Her short stories have won prizes and have appeared in various literary magazines and journals. Her screenwriting credits, written with director Anna Kokonos, include the award-winning films Only the Brave and Head On. Mira lives in Melbourne. So, yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Grace, really, we have something for everyone. Just have to look at the 3 books that we've shared with you tonight.
I know, and wait till we get to this 4th one. So,
Yes.
Mural by Stephen Downes, so another contemporary. Mural is a haunting confession by a psychopath known only as D. Held in a secure facility, he's been asked by his psychiatrist to write down his thoughts, admissions, anxieties, and uncertainties. They are at first revealed through the stories of other people's lives and obsessions. Specifically, D is preoccupied with a British man who spent his early years as a school teacher in Australia before becoming a renowned sexologist. Dee is also consumed by Australia's most prolific public artist, a man whose highly erotic watercolours are at odds with his stained glass church windows. Dee writes of his meeting with a boyhood friend. He recounts the true tale of a Frenchman who went mad because he believed prehistoric stones in Brittany were shifting. Downes navigates the real and the imagined, traversing fact and fiction. Mural is a daring acknowledgement of the influences of European writers such as Thomas Bernhard and W.G. Sebald, while moving into new and original territory. It is both provocative and tender, a highly explosive fable about sexuality, religion, art, and obsession.
There you go.
Yeah, what a book.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
yeah. It's so different, each one of these. So let me tell you about Stephen Downes.
Mm.
His debut novel was The Hands of Pianist, and it was shortlisted in 2022 for the Australian Prime Minister's Literary Awards. Judges described that book as extraordinary.
Mm.
His recent short stories have been longlisted and shortlisted in prestigious UK prizes. Last Meal won the 2020 Fiction Factory Prize. His non-fiction books include A Lasting Record, HarperCollins 2013, Blackie, not 2003. Couldn't get my words out there again. And Harris on a Plate, published by Murdoch Books in 2006. In other lives, he covered a Middle East war for Agence France Presse, reported on Iraq and covered a New Caledonian insurrection. Wrote leading articles for The Age and the Herald Sun, was for several years a feature writer on The Age, and as a freelancer was renowned for decades as Australia's toughest restaurant critic. Well,
Wow,
what
now
a
there's a
fabulous
bio.
bio to put together and
That is a
talk about
bio.
a psychopath. Yes.
Yeah.
Stephen. So, yes, we have Stephen on our list to chat with. He is one of our future guests. So keep your eye out for that one. So
Interesting.
thanks, Laurie, for sharing those book spotlights.
Yes. Oh, da, da, da. We've got so many. And it's wonderful. It's so great to have so many books on the list.
It is. And you will be pleased to know that I
Mm.
did start the newsletter. We'll be giving
Fabulous.
away. Let me just grab those
You
for
know
you.
what? We might have to do a Christmas giveaway too,
Oh, yes. Maybe we can
since
say
that's
anybody who's
coming
got a
up.
Christmas book if they'd like to be.
Yeah.
Yes,
Ooh,
that could
hey,
be
that'd be
good.
fun. Yeah, that'd
Could
be
be
good.
fun. Because we've, of course, got Christmas Australia. All right.
Mm.
We've got two by Monica Shot. We've got My Dad Built Me the Wackiest, Best and Wackiest Cubby Ever, which was great, but also The
Awesome.
Faroe Land of the House and Two Cows. We've got Talon Marked by
Fantastic.
the fabulous Sue Ellen Pashley. I'll put these covers up for the
Yeah.
visual people. We've also got a book called My Name is Gucci by Sun Young. So, yeah, four different fabulous ones. We've
Fabulous.
got one from Transit Lounge, we've got one from Dead Set Press,
Mhm.
and we've got Monica's books, which I think she self-published. Let me just check
Okay.
that. But yeah, we'll put the
Well,
blurbs
that's
in.
exciting.
But
That's a great list of
it
books for
is. And
this
if you
newsletter.
want to, yeah, if you want to be in the running for a
Mm.
free paperback copy of any of those books, you need to be one of our newsletter subscribers because they are the only people who get a Guernsey. And I usually ask them a simple, funny, or weird question. And people, sometimes I have to spin the wheel and just
Mhm.
pick who gets the books because we get some
Fabulous.
very, very good responses.
Mm.
Although we do have some people who are very persistent and they won more than one book. So please feel free to jump
Excellent.
on
It's a good way to get books.
australianbooklovers.com/book lovers.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes, absolutely.
Is it
So,
time?
yeah, let's get into my fabulous conversation with Donna M Cameron. Book lovers, I am delighted today to have with me Donna M. Cameron, author of Beneath the Mother Tree and The Rewilding. Hello, Donna. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me, Laurie. I feel honoured and privileged to be
I'm
here. So,
so excited to be able to talk to you today. Now, I am coming to you, listeners, from Wurundjeri Country. Where are you coming to us today, Donna, from?
Dark and Young and Gurindji Country. So.
Fantastic. Now, hopefully the weather's a little bit better where you are than I am this morning because it has not stopped raining
Oh, it's
for the.
beautiful here.
Oh,
It's
really?
beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, darn Melbourne. Okay, well, let's start off. I would love to find out from you, where did your writing journey start? What got you into the decision to actually write, to get your words out there?
Um, well, I was an actress for many years, and then I accidentally kind of got uh, dragged into playwriting. Uh, that's a long story. And then I started writing plays. Then I actually found uh, radio plays much more liberating. So
Hmm.
I moved into radio. That's when the Radio National used to have an incredible drama department. I don't know if you remember, but on a Sunday afternoon they would um, play plays. And yeah, so I did four radio plays with Radio National, and it really liberated my voice because I didn't just have to work in dialogue. It was like writing a novel in a way because you could do internal voice and then switch to dialogue. And anyhow, the drama department closed, and Beneath the Mother Tree came at me, and it was big, and I knew, wow, this is actually a novel. And I loved writing it so much. I just realized, oh my God, I found my form. So yeah, I'm just finishing my third novel now, and I've taken notes for my fourth. So I'm definitely a
You've got the bug.
novelist. Yeah, it just took me a long time, like, to realize I was a novelist.
Well, it's fascinating your journey there with the playwriting as well as the acting, the voice work. It's interesting that there is that connection between books and particularly dialogue with the screenplays and with your playwright work into then a novel. Have you found that an easy transition or a difficult transition?
No, it was easy. And I found like my voice was freed, especially moving into radio drama because I found playwriting, just having to work in dialogue a lot, really constraining.
Mhm.
And yeah, so it was a natural transition. And even the acting, it all feeds into it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So nothing is ever wasted. It all leads to this culmination of where I feel like I need to be right now, and you know, life's just such an incredible journey.
Absolutely. Well, with just a little bit more on the playwright work and dialogue. So with with your books, are you planning any audiobooks? Have you put any work into that? Are you going to do any audiobooks?
Well, yeah, I'm just at the tail end of recording Beneath the Mother Tree, so
Oh, fantastic.
hopefully that will be out in the near future. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
well, it
absolutely
will be.
marvelous.
It will be. We're just waiting on a few things, and yeah.
Fantastic. Well, tell me then a little bit about the journey with your novel writing. It is obviously it is some different skills there that you bring to the table. Why a novel? Why did you choose to write in that long form?
Well, I love the long form. I love being able to sink into a whole world and um, the whole, life journey of a character. And also, you can explore all the five senses. You can paint. I love painting images in the
Hmm.
reader's head.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just the best form.
Do you think
And
your acting has helped with that, with picturing the novel as you write?
yeah, definitely. I really like writing action for characters,
Hmm.
the the body movement of the characters and gestures, and yeah, I think it definitely has helped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's all psychology, isn't it? It's just
Absolutely.
psychology of of humanity,
Mm-hmm.
broken down and dissected, and yeah.
Well, look, I do want to jump into talking about your amazing books. But first, let me just give the listeners just a little bio for yourself, although we have discussed a little bit of it. So, novelist Donna M Cameron is an Augie-nominated radio dramatist, award-winning playwright and short film writer. Her first novel, Beneath the Mother Tree, was listed as one of 2018's top Australian fiction reads by the Adelaide Advertiser and was a finalist in the Screen Queensland QWC's Adaptable program and longlisted for the David Awards. The manuscript of her second novel, The Rewilding, which we'll talk about in a little bit, won her a 2020 KSP Fellowship, was runner-up in the 2020 Writing New South Wales Award, and gained her the 2021 Varuna Fellowship. It has just been published in ANZ by Transit Lounge. So tell me a little bit about how you got your publisher.
So yeah, it was actually quite a journey with the rewilding, because I tried to get an agent first up, and the agents kept saying to me, "Oh, climate change, I won't be able to sell it. Publishers are just over climate change; they don't want anything to do with it." And then yeah, we did find that that was the case. A lot of the publishers weren't even actually reading it. They were just like, "Oh no, I'm not interested in, working on a book about climate change," even though mine was full of hope. So I was like trying to sell it as, this isn't a dystopian. It's actually, I'm exploring the idea of hope, because I needed to find hope for myself. So that's why I wrote this book. And yeah, anyhow, Barry Scott from Transit Lounge loved it, and yeah, it's been a wonderful journey with him.
That's fantastic. So
Yeah.
a little bit about the rewilding. So that actually came out this year, which is
March. Yeah.
that's absolutely brilliant. So the blurb here for the rewilding is an exhilarating and unforgettable love song for our world. Heartbroken and in fear for his life, corporate whistleblower Jagger Eckerman escapes to hide out in a remote cave. But kick-ass radical Nia Moretti is furious a capless suit has taken over her cave. It is hatred at first sight. Yet Nia is hiding for reasons of her own, ones that drag Jagger closer to death as they are forced to run together, and he is unwittingly pulled deeper into Nia's reckless mission to help save the planet. But who can save Jagger from the relentless pursuit of the man who wants him dead? Both an electrifying cat and mouse chase and an odd couple love story, The Rewilding captures the essence of what it means to be alive today in this cusp of change pulsing with possibilities. It is a passionate intimation of hope. And there I am stuffing up right at the very end. My apologies. So tell me a little bit more about this genre. So I'm getting thriller, mystery, tastes there, but you mentioned the nature centric, um, the climate centric parts to your writing. Why that genre for you?
Because nature is what feeds my soul, I suppose. And I am really concerned about the collapse of the natural world at the moment. And we're all a part of that. So it's going to affect us. It is affecting us already. So, yeah, I can't not write about it. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about why you chose these characters to tell this story.
Well, all of my books so far, and the fourth one's come to me, have kind of arrived in this, what I call a whoosh. Just, you know, they bombard me, and I have to take a lot of notes. And often then I don't start writing, I just brews away for quite a while.
Okay.
So book four happened about, I don't know, a year or so ago, and I haven't even started. I've filled up an exercise book full of notes, but they're just dot point notes that I haven't actually started writing any
Mm-hmm.
text as such, but so yeah, they arrive and then they brew, and then eventually, when I'm ready, then I write them. So yeah, Jagger arrived, and his mother arrived with his name, and even though his mother doesn't, she's not a character in the book as such, she's very present the whole way through. Yeah, Nia arrived. Nia, I think, was inspired by I was up walking in the national park near where I live, and which the first part of the book is set in, and this beautiful young woman just kind of stepped out on the path in front of me, and she was dreadlocked and hairy legged and barefoot, and uh, she just we just clocked each other, and then she just disappeared, like she was almost mythical.
Wow.
And I knew immediately that she was living in one of the caves,
Mm.
because there's all these sandstone caves in the national scattered throughout the national park, and I'd heard that there were young people living in the caves. And I thought, oh, so I think, that young woman really triggered the idea of this eco warrior
Mm-hmm.
character. And I also I love to explore myth in
Mm-hmm.
my books, so I also based her a little bit on the Huldra, the Skogskra, the Lady of the Forest.
Mm-hmm.
And she's this beautiful woman if you see her from the front, but if you see her from behind, she she'll have maybe a hollow back or bark in her back, and
Mm-hmm.
often she has a tail.
Mm-hmm.
So she's kind of comes out of the landscape, and she's a protector of the forest, or wherever she is, that landscape. And if she sees humans not respecting the landscape or her, which she's a part of, then she often kills them. So she's quite
Mm.
dangerous. And the cover of the book, that's
Is
her on the
her?
front.
Oh,
The
marvelous.
Haldra,
Ah.
the Skogskra, the Lady of the Forest. Yeah,
Fantastic. So,
yeah.
the thriller mystery elements of your story, what draws you to those aspects of genre?
Well, I think because I'm a dramatist
Mm-hmm.
originally, I love that dramatic tension, that page turning element. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I read a lot of literary fiction
Mm-hmm.
because I love good writing, but I often get frustrated with the lack of dramatic tension sometimes. So, for me, the best books are the ones that are beautifully written, but also have that dramatic tension.
Mm-hmm.
So you've just got to keep turning the page to find out what's going to happen.
What do you think creates that dramatic tension in a book?
Oh, well, I suppose that question that the reader needs to have answered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, are you a plotter or a pantser with your novels?
I think I'm half and half. So
Explain that.
when the whoosh occurs, lots
Mm-hmm.
of um, turning points come in, and a skeletal kind of plot happens.
Mm-hmm.
But and the ending, like that climax, can't even start writing until I know where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
So once I've got that, but I don't like to. I'd never be able to plot it all out, and I like the characters to. I know where I'm going, but I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
they're going to get me there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, half and half, I'd say,
Oh, fantastic.
definitely.
What's your sort of day-to-day writing? How does your writing day work for you?
Well, I'm a morning writer, so
Mm-hmm.
I like to get up and get into it as soon as I can. And by 3 o'clock, I'm kind of brain dead
Mm-hmm.
usually. So then I go for a walk or garden or, um, yeah,
Do you find that
you know,
stepping away helps with that thinking process while you're writing?
yeah. So if I get stuck, if I'm generating new material, often I will take a notebook and go and lie down somewhere, maybe on the veranda in the sun, or
Mm-hmm.
if it's winter, in front of a fire, and um, just kind of get into that dreamy stage, and
Mm-hmm.
or go and do some gardening, or rather than sitting there at the computer just going, oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, definitely.
So
Do you find that?
yes, oh,
Yeah.
I find particularly when I'm stuck with a particular problem with my novels, I'll find taking a shower or having a bath or going for a walk that
Yeah,
sort of
because you've written like
generates.
7 books, haven't
Yes,
you?
there's a few sitting there in the
Yeah,
in the old dusty
wow.
cupboard. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I
I'm a
mm,
babe in arms. I'm only, yeah, third book
no, not
in.
at all, not at all, because you've got
Mm.
such a history with creativity and putting together these stories and that from with playwriting through to short films, it's all storytelling, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I still feel like I'm learning so much though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is wonderful. I think, yeah, if you got to that point where you're like, oh, I know how to do this, maybe you'd get bored.
Mm-hmm.
I
What?
I have a really high bar that I feel like I'm never going to reach, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's what keeps me writing.
So, where do you write? Where do you prefer to write?
Ah, well, I have a dedicated writing space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, I do have a little studio out the back, but it's been taken over. I haven't moved in there yet.
Oh, taken
Yeah,
over by
so
family or?
yes, that's right. It was meant to be my writing space, but
Mm.
yeah. Anyhow, it's all good. I can write anywhere, really.
Okay.
I write in airports. Sometimes I write at work if I have a spare moment.
I try to sneak away, get out for my walk at lunchtime and get the notepad out and start
Yeah,
writing.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm lucky I don't have to work every day now.
That's
So
great.
yeah, I'm trying to balance it,
Mhm.
half work, half writing.
So how long did it take you to write beneath sorry, I had
Beneath the
that
mother
writing.
tree?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Beneath the Mother Tree in comparison to the Rewilding.
Well, it's hard to say really. Beneath the Mother Tree took a while to find a publisher, so I kept
Mhm,
working on it
mhm,
as I was looking. And yeah, definitely the rewilding was a bit quicker.
mhm.
This third book's been quicker, so I am getting faster, which is good.
Good. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
What
but years. I take years. I'm not a, you know, churn them out 1 year at a
mhm,
time kind of
mhm,
writer. Yeah. Well, yeah, probably Rewilding was 4. I think Beneath the Mother Tree was 7.
mhm.
Yeah.
What have you learned from the editing part of the journey?
Wow. I've learned so much
Mhm,
about editing. Yeah, Beneath the Mother Tree, the first version of that, I was lucky enough to get a grant to work with Nicola O'Shea, who's an incredible structural editor, and she just cut it all up like it was a jigsaw and put it all back together. And wow, it was amazing what she did, and I learned so much. Like,
mhm,
wow. Yeah. So I learned a lot about structural editing through that
mhm,
process.
mhm,
Um, so the rewilding was pretty, good structurally.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, the line editing, yeah, well, that's where the craft comes in, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
I could fiddle with lines forever. So
Mhm.
I do seem to have a problem with not wanting to hand the book over and saying, yeah, it's done. Because for
Mhm.
me, it feels like it's never done. I could just, yeah. And even when it's published, you see lines and you think, oh, I could have done that better. But
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Yep. So that, I mean, it sounds like that particularly with the first book, that the structural edit was quite brutal in a way. How did you find that when you first had the commentary back
The
from your editor?
13-page document.
Mm.
um, I was I was shocked at how much work I had to do, but also I was so impressed
Mhm,
because as I read it, I was just like, oh, this is going to be so much better.
mhm,
You
mhm.
know, I love feedback. Um, when people give you insight and you're just suddenly like, oh. So the book I'm working on at the moment, my writing buddy Lisa Kenway, she read the manuscript, and she gave me this incredible feedback that just changed everything. Mean, I mean, much more work, but it's so much better. And I knew, you know what I mean? Like I knew there was something off with it, and just having someone else and fresh pair of eyes come in, and she's just like, well, why don't you do this? Change this character so she's this. And I was like, oh, thank you so much.
They see what we don't they? It's
yeah, because you get too close
astonishing.
to it, and you kind of stuck with it in a way, like you know that it's not quite working, but you don't know how to. Yeah. Other writers in particular, like so blessed with my writing group. Yeah.
So you actually have a writing group. What do you do with your group?
Well, we often just meet for social, get-togethers. But for me, the most wonderful thing is getting feedback on my manuscripts, which, because I only write one every few years. It doesn't happen that often, but that's the most, valuable thing. And of course, their friendship. But yeah.
And knowing everyone goes through a similar process, it might be different paths, but it's still the same process.
Yeah, and the emotional support. Yeah, we are a bit of an emotional support group for each other. Definitely.
I think you do need that as writers, because it is such an isolating individual career, so to speak. You really get down in your own head and really you're there for so long, and that's right through the writing and then the editing process. Being able to chat to other writers, I think is really, you realize there is that community.
Yeah. Like I've just spent 4 days writing straight.
Wow.
And not seeing anyone. Like I've just been writing. And yeah, I mean, it is my favorite thing to do, so I don't mind at all. But yeah, I think it is healthy to get out there and, meet people too.
Yeah. So what's one of the comments that you've had from either your writing group or your editor or even just a reader that's really stayed with you?
Benjamin Stevenson said about my writing that I have a very rare skill of writing in a literary way, but keeping the page turning element there. And that was really beautiful because I should print that email out and frame it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the kind of comment that keeps you going, isn't it?
That's what I try and aim for, that kind of crossover. Yeah.
Have you done with the Rewilding came out in March this year? Have you done many face-to-face meetings, readings, book signings?
Yeah, it's been amazing. The amount of interest the book has garnered. I got invited to a couple of big festivals, and I've done heaps of author events. I've got another one coming up, Avalon Library, next Thursday evening, 6 p.m.
Wonderful.
Yes, it hasn't stopped, which is wonderful. And a lot of these have come from, I haven't instigated it. People have read the book and just gone, wow, can you come and talk about it? So that's been really lovely.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So what do you keep in the back of your mind when you're writing a new story, when that idea comes to you? Is there something specific you keep in mind as you're writing that you think, oh, this is I always miss this, or I don't see this. I need to focus on this part, whether it's editing, whether it's part of that structural breakdown plot.
Well, I've learnt to do word searches because I think all writers do this. You tend to use similar words again and again. So there's a part of my brain that goes, oh, I think I've used that word before. So I do a word search, and so
same words, or do they change per book?
I think they change per book, but that's a little trick I've learned with this third one. I'm just like, oh, I just do the word search as I go rather than getting to the end.
Yep.
Then you do the word search, and there's like 40 of them. You're like, oh.
That's better than 200. I've gone down that line before. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, I love that word search function. It's
hmm
so handy.
Yeah, yeah. With your research, so how deep into the rabbit hole do you go when you're researching for one of your novels?
I go very deep. So with the rewilding, I think I read about, I don't know, 40 odd books on climate change and
Mm,
the idea of hope and yeah, everything in the rewilding is based or inspired on true events. So
mhm.
I did do a lot of research for that. And also beneath the mother tree, I was lucky enough to work with Indigenous elder, Uncle Bob
Oh,
Anderson,
wonderful.
because there's Indigenous content in that book, and
hmm
that was incredible. Yeah, so research is a very big thing. My next book, I've been interviewing a lot of the farmers in the area
Ah,
where the book is set,
hmm
and yeah, most of it doesn't end up in the book, but it
hmm
definitely helps to shape the book.
Yeah. Does that help
Yeah,
you find those voices with your characters?
yeah, and it's all that little detail, isn't it, that
hmm
um, kind of slides in here and there. And no, I love research.
What's one of the strangest things you've had to research for a novel?
Well, with the rewilding, the radicalization of eco warriors,
hmm
which is occurring, that little rabbit hole was frightening.
Mm.
There was a man in, unfortunately, I can't remember his name off the top of
Mhm.
my head, but in 2022, he set himself on fire.
Goodness.
I think it was in San Francisco, and
hmm
killed himself to raise awareness around the climate crisis. And that those kind of incidents have, there's quite a few occurring all around the world all the time because
hmm
there's lots of people really, really worried about the heating of the planet. So
hmm
yeah, that was a frightening little rabbit hole.
Yeah, my goodness.
And the way the
Mm,
governments are clamping down
yeah.
on protesting too is really frightening.
Mm,
It
mm,
just goes to show they know that there's unrest and
mhm.
that civil disobedience is just getting, we're rising up
Worse across the
because,
board. Mm,
yeah, yeah, we're sick of it. We're sick of
mhm.
being lied to.
Are there any not hidden messages then with your novels, but are there any secrets that you sort of pop through your novel that is primarily for yourself, but are there any hidden secrets in your work?
Well, I am linking all my books. So the characters from Beneath the Mother Tree, the
Cool.
two protagonists are very, they make a tiny little appearance in the rewilding. And my third book, um, I'm also linking to the rewilding and Beneath the Mother Tree.
Oh, wonderful.
So, and I'm sure I'll probably do it with the fourth book. I love to, I think it's Emily St. John Mandel. She does it a bit more overtly, but
Mm,
I love, for my uh really devoted readers, just putting these little links in.
mhm.
Yeah, so not many people have picked up, only a couple of readers so far that I've spoken to have picked up the link between Beneath the Mother Tree and the Rewilding.
Oh,
So
good.
that's my little secret.
I love it. I love it. So who helped you most when you were starting out?
Other writers,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
What's something that one of them passed on to you?
A really wonderful piece of advice was to just, with the first draft, push on through.
hmm
Like, don't stop, just keep going. Don't go back and edit, and which is
hmm
what I was doing, and I couldn't kind of
Ah.
get the momentum happening. And
hmm
then, yeah, Paula Weston it was. She said to me, just keep writing, don't worry, get to the end, then go back, and that was
hmm
so helpful. But yeah, I was lucky enough to meet Thomas Keneally, I
Wonderful.
wandered into his little library in Pitt Street because someone said, "Oh, there's a little Thomas Keneally library,"
Oh.
and he happened to be there. And I said, "Oh, I've got a novel. I've just signed my first contract,
Oh, wow.
publishing contract." And he said, "Oh, do you want to come for a coffee?" He had another friend there, and we sat for 2 hours. And
Wow.
yeah, I fell in love with his soul. He's just the most beautiful man, and he gave me so much advice. And yeah, so other writers are the best.
What was one of the pieces of advice he gave you?
Oh, so much. But yeah, to write from your heart. Don't write for money or accolades. Write because you just need to write, and write that thing that is burning in you.
hmm What do you hope your readers take away from your books when they read them?
I hope that they're entertained and moved
hmm
and maybe learn something. I don't know. I know with the rewilding, I've had some readers say that they've changed their behavior, which has
Wow.
just been the most beautiful thing, the best
Yeah.
feedback ever. I don't know. I don't kind of write to go, oh, I want people to. I'm writing for myself a lot of the time. I'm writing the book that I want to read.
hmm
Um,
hmm
yeah. Or I'm answering a question that I really need answered. So beneath the mother tree, I needed to understand my sense of belonging.
hmm
Um, I'm fourth, fifth generation, mainly Irish Australian.
hmm
My partner's a Darug man, partly Darug. So my kids are part Darug,
Oh,
you know.
wonderful. hmm
And when I was raising them, I realized I was teaching them like a mongrel mythology because as we were looking for fairies in the
hmm
landscape, and
hmm
but also I'd picked up some um, Aboriginal beliefs,
hmm
in the Quandamooka area where I grew up, because I was lucky enough um, to have Aboriginal um, people in my life, because there's a really healthy Aboriginal community on Minjerribah.
hmm
Um, so I realized, wow, what what do I teach my kids? Like
hmm
I just need to explore that idea of belonging.
hmm
So that was beneath the mother tree, and the rewilding came out of an incredible desire to. I was in a state of incredible climate grief and
hmm
anxiety, and I needed to find out if there was hope. I was really worried about the future for my children,
hmm
and I needed to find hope. So it is actually full of hope.
That's
Um,
good.
and yeah, I realized that hope comes through action. And
hmm
yeah,
hmm
so when I've had a couple of readers say to me, "Oh, I stopped doing this," after I read your book, I realized, that they changed their behavior. I was like, wow,
That's very
that
cool.
is the best.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
huge takeaway. I with Beneath the Mother Tree, you have some references in there to the dreaming and to that really natural life with just how we are as people. With you mentioned with mythology, with some of the Irish mythology coming through, is that even though your books are thrillers and they're mysteries and there's strength in that in the climate and nature parts of the story, do you find that sort of leaking through with your storytelling?
The mythology.
Mm.
Oh yeah, definitely. So there's I never know how to pronounce it, but it's Fardoroka is how it's
hmm
spelt. And that's the Irish myth I explored in Beneath the Mother Tree.
hmm
So he's like a very handsome black-haired man who plays a flute, but if you dance for him or follow him, he actually takes you down into the underworld, into the fairy realm, because
Oh.
he's a servant of the fairy queen, and you're
Oh.
never seen again. So I wanted to explore that myth in Beneath the
hmm
Mother Tree. I've done a MA on writing contemporary stories from ancient myths. So I think there's a lot of power in mythology, and I love the work of Kate Forsyth.
That's so, I love when myths just creep into our storytelling, whether we even know it or not. I think quite often just the background and the knowledge and the reading and everything that seeps into culture, we just pick up things that then pop up in more and more fiction and
Yeah,
our stories.
yeah. I wanted to include more of the indigenous mythology in Beneath the Mother Tree, but yeah, it wasn't my place to go there.
Hmm.
And so yeah, I didn't go there as
Hmm.
much as I wanted to. Um, it was very complicated, and it is very complicated because
Yeah.
some of the, some of it's men's business, some of it's women's
Hmm.
business. And yeah, Uncle Bob just said to me, maybe just write from your perspective. Um, so I never wrote from an Indigenous character's point of view, even though there are Indigenous characters in the book.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Must have been fascinating sitting there talking with Uncle Bob and getting that insight into nature.
It was incredible, actually. I realized how wide I was in
Hmm.
many aspects,
Hmm.
and also the the tragedy in the landscape.
Hmm.
So this was an area that I'd grown up in, and I had no idea about all the massacres that had occurred in the landscape.
Hmm.
And so that really seeped into the book more than the um, indigenous mythology. It was
Hmm.
That's what really shaped the book and turned it more into a gothic kind of yeah. I
Hmm.
had no idea about the violence and the tragedy that was inherent in that landscape. And
Hmm.
um, you know, yeah, it just opened up my eyes in so many ways. And I expected Uncle Bob to read my manuscript and give me feedback like, all the dramaturgs I'd worked with over the years, white males in the
Hmm.
theatre industry. And
Very
it
quick to
was
tell you what they think.
totally different, totally different. We just sat and yarned, and he was never going to read it because he kept saying, I come from an oral tradition. So once I realized that, and I actually sat and then read him my
Mm.
story, then the exchange really started to open up. So
And so with your play writing skills and your narration skills with the plays that must have really shone through there.
he was like, because his wife, he wasn't that well when I started reading one particular day, and his wife was like, "Oh, we'll just have a short session today."
Mm.
And she came in, and he was like, "No, no, I want to know what happens."
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's great.
Fantastic. So do you have some myths and legends that are can come through in your next few works that
Yeah,
you're
so
working on?
the third book I'm working on, I'm looking at the Mary Poppins kind of. We can't find where, the ancient version of that
Mm.
story where it actually came from.
Originated.
Yeah, so I'm trying to research that at the moment, but it's definitely a Mary Poppins vibe, um,
Cool.
a certain aspect of the book.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I haven't uh I haven't gone in like the other two books with an actual myth in mind. It's more
Hmm.
that I've written it and gone, oh, this is like it's just definitely got that Mary Poppins kind of, a family arrives and changes the lives of the neighbors around them, and
Mm.
um, yeah,
Is there a little bit of magical realism that slips in there with
I
having
think
the myths come through?
I think there's always a little bit of that kind of pushing the boundaries of reality in my work.
Hmm.
Yeah. I went and saw Robbie Arnott speak the other night, and he
Mm.
talked about he doesn't want to write the world as it is. He
Hmm.
wants to write the feel of the world.
Hmm.
And I thought, that's so
That's
good.
that's nicely
I
put.
get that. I get
Mm.
that.
And you said you want that hope to come through. So is that really your theme or message through all the books, or does that change?
No, so beneath the mother tree, there was a little bit of climate change in there, but it was, yeah, it was more about how do you connect to the landscape you're born into,
Mm-hmm.
about belonging. The rewilding's definitely about hope. The next one, it's about kindness
Mm-hmm.
and resilience and preparation for maybe what's about to occur.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most important thing that we need now is kindness,
Mm-hmm.
connection,
Mm-hmm.
because things are, you know, the natural worlds as we know it is
Mm-hmm.
changing rapidly. Our crops are failing. Everything's
Weather's
crumbling. So
terrible.
the weather's going to get
Yeah.
worse. So
Yeah.
as a species, we need to come together and work together and be nice to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Otherwise, if we turn on each other, things will be really, really bad. So yeah,
Mm.
I think this book, as I'm working on it, I'm like, oh, this is actually all about kindness.
That's good.
So, yeah.
That's a nice message to pass on. So do you have any, if a writer starting out, brand new to writing, want to write a book, what advice would you give them?
Write every day, even if it's a paragraph. Read every day, even if it's a paragraph.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is that just to keep it ticking along in your head and keeping it moving, moving forward?
Absolutely. Yeah. It takes a long time to write a book.
Mm.
And I find if you have even one day break from it,
Mm-hmm.
it's, you know, it's, you really need to keep it bubbling.
Mm-hmm.
So touching base with it every day, because, we all need to work for money. You can't write all day, every day, unless you're really, I don't know, fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
So even on those days that you work, even if you can touch your base with your book in some way, I mean, ultimately, it's wonderful to just get away for like on a writing retreat and sink into it. Like Varuna,
Mm-hmm.
I've been lucky enough to be invited to Varuna twice
Oh, wow.
on fellowships, and yeah, 2 weeks of just
Oh.
uninterrupted writing, not having to cook or clean
Mm-hmm.
or deal
Mm-hmm.
with children.
Life.
Just yeah, that's been incredible.
Mm.
Yeah.
How do you find the time to write then when real life does get in the way? What do you do to really just go, you know what? No, I'm done. I need to just focus. Is it that
Well,
getting away?
yeah, and I've made a decision, and I think I've always been like this anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just need enough money to get by.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always put my creative life in balance. Yeah, so I've never really devoted myself to a money job. I've always tried to work part-time
Mm-hmm.
and either act or write. With acting, it was different. Like you got a job and then you did that job full
Mm.
time. And then when the job stopped, because I was mainly in theatre, then you had to like kind of get a real job to survive and then
Yes.
wait for your next acting job. But with writing, I've tried to like just work part time, write part time.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I don't know how people do it. I could not work full time and write. I
It
don't
is
know. I have
exhausting.
full respect to people who can do that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just
Particularly when they're
um
going home and they've got family or young kids where you know that attention is needed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Consequently, I've always, we've never had, fancy cars or fancy
Hmm.
houses or but that's the choice I've made. I've always put my creativity before the idea of money
Hmm.
um and that's, I've got to say, led to a very happy life. I don't think money makes you that happy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. The need to write, I have that as well, where you just sometimes you just need to get it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've always tried to just work part-time
Hmm.
and survive on the little bit of money that we have, and it's okay, we get by. Um, we have no super. Who knows what will happen to us eventually, but um,
Well,
who knows?
you've
One of
got
my books
you
might take off and yeah.
exactly, you've got more books coming out. Who knows what the future
That's
holds.
right. That's
So
right. Yeah.
where can our listeners find you online?
Okay, so my website is www.dmcameron.com,
Hmm.
and I'm on Instagram, Donna M Cameron Writer,
Hmm.
and Facebook, Goodreads, yeah, Donna
And
M
you said you've
Cameron.
got a few in-person events that are coming up.
Yeah, so Avalon Library, I think it's next Thursday evening
Hmm.
at 6 p.m. So
Fantastic.
yeah,
Hopefully our listeners can get along and listen more to all of your fantastic details about particularly with rewilding. Is so that's what you're there discussing with
yeah, the
at Avalon?
rewilding. Yeah, yeah, the lovely Meg Dunn, who's the librarian there, loved my book. So she contacted me. She's like, Donna, Donna, we need to get you to the library. And I was like, oh,
Oh,
it's
that's
so lovely.
marvelous.
I know, it's been really lovely, actually. This book has just been embraced by lots of people. So
That's fantastic.
it's a wonderful thing. Yeah.
So, any last words to our listeners out there that you've got? Any advice?
I would say we are in an unprecedented time, and don't think that as individuals we're powerless.
Mhm.
There's so much we can do as an individual. In fact, on the rewilding page on my website, if you scroll down to the bottom, I've got 10 simple things we can do as individuals to create change. And we need to, um, you know, as a species, we need to actually start to rise up and fight because we can't let them get away with what's happening.
Hmm.
Um,
10
so
simple things. I love that.
yeah, 10 simple things. There's so
Mm.
many little things we can do, like where we buy our food.
Hmm.
Just buy locally. Buy your food locally from your
Yep.
local farmers market. That's such a simple thing you can do.
Yep.
Don't support the big supermarkets.
So
Um,
wonderful walking through the local markets and oh, it's fantastic talking to people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Stop mindlessly consuming. Do you really need it?
Hmm.
Everything you
Hmm.
buy adds to the emissions. So recycle, you know.
Hmm.
Um, op shops are incredible. Everything I wear
Yes.
comes from an op shop. Yeah, there's all these little changes.
Mm.
Can you imagine if everyone did it? Everyone in the developing world, that is, would make a huge difference.
Oh,
So
good.
there's so much we can do as
Hmm.
individuals, and I'm sick of the argument that, oh, I'm powerless. The governments have to. I mean, we have to make them nervous as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
But as individuals, there are many things that we can do. And yeah, I do believe that we can turn things around if we come together on this. And I have faith in humanity. I think that probably the 23rd hour, we're going to get our shit together because the weather will get so bad that
Mm.
we will.
Mm.
We're going to rise up. And that's why I think the governments of the world are bringing in such laws against protesting because they're
Mm.
nervous.
Mm. Power,
They can
power
see
the
the
people.
writing on the wall. There is
Mm.
power to the people. You
Mm.
can't you can't stop a wave. The bigger the wave, the tsunami, you know, power to the
Yeah.
people. We need a tsunami of people just out there in the streets saying,
Mm.
nah, no
Hmm.
more. And we need people to actually um wake up
Hmm.
as well and realize, okay, we can change this around. Yeah. On a good
Well,
day,
oh
that's what I
yes.
think. On a
Yeah, I
bad
love it.
day, I'm like, we're just bugged. So I go up and
Both
down.
ways. Yeah. Yep. I,
Yeah.
I hear that. Well, once again, thank you, Donna M. Cameron, for joining us on the Australian Book Lovers podcast today.
Thank you
And
so much, Laurie. Thank you
uh,
so much. It's been
it's
wonderful.
it's been marvelous talking to you. So, author of The Rewilding, which came out this year, and Beneath the Mother Tree, and keep an eye out for the next amazing works that come out from Donna. And I guess I can wrap it up with just saying I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day.
And you too, Laurie, you too.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Donna M Cameron, for a lovely chat with Laurie. And boy, did you go down some rabbit holes and wide ranging, and all of the things that Donna brings to her writing, the acting, the sort of the multiple skills that she have. I
Yeah, the
love
voice acting, the
the
theatre. Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
yeah, and what a combination, the eco-fiction, the thriller, the romance,
Yep, with that
all of
element
it.
of hope coming through,
Yeah,
which I
yeah, the
really
real hope note.
love as the ultimate with her fiction. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
just, fantastic and environmental thriller. Like the idea of it is so fascinating and
Mm,
that it's not that cli-fi desperation, disaster, everything's falling apart. So
yeah.
yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
It was
it is
lovely
very
to talk
cool.
to her.
And great advice as well. Let
Yeah.
your first draft pour out. Um, just don't even think about it, just let it pour out, which is really
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, gets
Yeah.
the structural feedback. She loves the word search function. Me too, Donna, me too.
Yes.
So yes, the idea of
I did
belonging.
think of you, Veronica, when we got to that, when we were chatting about that. I'm like, oh, yes, words.
Yeah, very good. So yeah, thanks Donna M Cameron
Mm,
for your beautiful book, The
yes.
Rewilding, and I love the myth,
Yes.
the involvement of myth with Australian Indigenous story and that, yeah, just
Yeah.
fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely. So, oh, it was such a good chat. But anyway,
Well, we can't stay here all night. We have to do
no,
some
that's
quotes.
right. Yes, otherwise we will both get very tongue-tied and fall asleep.
What have you got for us, Laurie?
I actually had some quotes fitting in with Donna's concepts there with just Albert Camus. The purpose of a writer is to keep civilization from destroying itself. So I think that's I actually have
That's
another one to sneak in as well.
yeah,
But that I found that one was really, you know what? Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
very apt. Very
Yeah. I
apt.
think particularly with obviously I love sci-fi, so that comes through very strongly. But every kind of fiction I think does that. It
Yeah,
just gives you that grounding in something that maybe you don't know much about, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah.
But my other one that I wanted to sneak in was from Alice Walker, which is the
Yep.
most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any.
Ooh, I
And I
like
thought that
that.
was, yeah, that was quite fitting with environmental fiction, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
And you know what? One little person, two little people, more, it's just, yeah, you can create a great movement from just one person. Who knows?
absolutely. Yeah, I tell my uh, students that all the time. All right, I
Mm,
am going to give you a quote by Donald Miller, who
mm,
says
mhm.
that the objective of a writer should not be to sell books or to entertain. It should be to open a hole in space and time, then pull the readers through the hole to another dimension from which the reader will return transformed.
Oh, I love that
How about that?
quote. That's brilliant. Ah, who doesn't
Yeah.
love a bit of portal fiction? But
Ah,
no, but that's a great one because you get lost in a book.
yeah,
And I mean that's what I'm finding with Nikki Lee at the moment with Raken's Fall. It's like, you know what? I do you just get sucked into the story and you go
yeah,
somewhere else and
yeah,
it's great.
yeah, it is
Unless it's
brilliant.
a horror, in which case you
Ah,
probably don't want to
no, don't read it with the
go
lights
there.
off or late at night.
No, and it is coming up to Halloween, so scary books are cool, but yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
not late
and
at night.
maybe not. I don't know if they do a lot of Halloween in your area. It's
No,
become a bit more
no.
popular, but
Oh, really?
yeah, there's little ones out and about, and they ask that you put something on your letterbox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Yep, yep, yep. When you come home from a full day of work, you get home past the kiddie hour, so I miss it. For anyone out there, I always have a giant bowl of chocolates. I'm just saying,
just in
and no
case.
one ever comes to my door,
Oh, yeah, we do it
but
just
I
in
have it
case,
just
but
in
we
case.
usually end
Yeah,
up eating them
yeah,
ourselves, which,
yeah. I
dare I
mean,
say,
I
we
don't
always have
mind
chocolate.
that so much.
Yeah. Well, I've got some chocolate waiting for me as well. So,
Nice.
yes, we might finish this because we did have
Yes.
a lovely long chat with Donna, and
Yes.
say that please follow us on all of our social medias.
Yep.
You'll find this podcast up on the website, of course, but you can also watch us on YouTube and Spotify, or just listen to it on your favorite platform.
Yep.
Please subscribe, leave us a star on your favorite platform, or a like or a tick or anything like that. And if you'd
Or
like to support us so that
tell a
we can
friend.
buy more chocolate, no, that's not true. As
If only.
if
If
only, that's right. But if you would like to support us, which really does help us with postage and with
Mm.
paying for the platform that we keep our podcast on, please feel free to give us a couple of dollars once off, or regularly once a month would be absolutely
It
fantastic.
is
And that
Christmas.
does, it
Giving
is,
at Christmas time is good for the soul. So
it
buy a
is.
book, help an
You'll feel
author,
better.
do it.
You'll feel
Yeah, you
better.
will feel
Yeah.
better.
Yes.
We'll feel
Or,
better too.
as you said, tell two friends about the
Yep.
podcast and get them
Tell
to
friends.
listen.
Yep.
And that will be fantastic as well, because we've got some subscribers on YouTube, which is very exciting also.
Yes.
And yeah, lots of people and authors. If you want to get on the podcast, give us a bell, and lots of listeners for you, and more exposure for your book.
Absolutely.
That's about it, I think,
Well,
isn't it?
I think we're right at the very end, and my partner's about to walk in the door, so we
Excellent.
might
So
have
we're
to
going to
jump
work
on it
quickly.
quickly. Yes, let's go. So,
Okay, it's time to remember to
to
read
read more
more Aussie
Aussie books.
books. Fabulous.
Bye
Thanks,
for
Laurie.
now.
Bye for now.
Bye.